One thing I would like to play before we run out of time, Neil, is I've been working on your instrumental pieces, the Beatles ones.
Oh, okay.
Like the Can't Buy Me Love, I kind of just threw that up there. I wasn't really ready for it,
Uh-huh.
but I've been working on Penny Lane
Okay.
and In My Life, and
Okay.
a little bit of I Will, because they're like to me like the most accessible ones. Some of those ones like are way out there. I had a hard time with.
You know, another one that's pretty accessible is Looking Through You. I'm Looking Through You.
It is. I
Yeah.
haven't tried that one yet.
Yeah, so that's a lot of times that's one I have people start with if they want to head into those. But let's see one. Pick one. And
Can I
let me
pull a
see it.
capo on this thing?
Sure.
I have one in my
Oh.
bag.
Okay, yeah.
Wrong finger.
So the second chorus is the very end of the song.
Yeah, and I just like to play it right, and I didn't.
Oh, that's good. Do it again. Make sure you get the D in the bass there.
Yeah.
And then that chord has to be F sharp minor, not F sharp. This has to be off.
Oh.
Yeah. And then it's G major, yeah. So the F sharp minor again. So so you know, so you're missing a melody note in there because
That D melody.
right. Don't have my good cables out here. Yeah, so see that G when you do the chorus in when you do the chorus in D. See, one thing is you were missing this melody note on the F sharp minor chord because you were playing it as F sharp major. You didn't have a finger available to play that note.
Oh.
So the melody there is this.
Oops.
So before that. No, that's a full F sharp minor. So you need a full bar here.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
the F.
Yeah.
Ah.
Right. So and then even this is going to come off. Full bar again, because you need the F sharp. I think, you know, actually, probably kind of summing up what we've been messing around with would be a really good thing first.
Okay.
So you kind of take that
Good
with
idea.
you. And that is left hand position is still really important. And chord progressions, making sure you know the chord progression to a song. It's even the same thing with like Penny Lane. I've got a teenage student that plays this, and when he came to me like 6 months ago and said, "Hey, I want to learn Penny Lane, but I want to like play it. I want to sing it." I thought, well, I don't know if my arrangement will work out for singing. And I listened to it and I thought, well, sure it will, as long as the bass line comes out. As long as you're hearing this. So knowing the chord progression and where the chords are in terms of in the beats, even in an instrumental song,
right.
is
I thought it was
huge.
interesting because you posted a Penny Lane lesson
Mm-hmm.
in the strumming version, and then I opened up the song and the instrumental, and I realized that it was very, very close. And then I started to do what you just did, try to strum it first. So I need to do that more.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
think you said the same thing in the James Taylor lesson, Fire and Rain. Listen, just strum the song and then figure out how the picking goes.
Yeah, because you can really get caught up in the minutia of like one little James Taylor thing. And that's going to sound, you know, I mean, it's going to take a long time to master that little move. Like I'm just strumming here, trying to stay in time, and you know, keeping things there. Well, no, but and then you can see that. So that's you got to have a really clear idea of that. Okay, so that's the second big thing: is make sure you always know the chord progression of the songs you're playing. Then in all those finger picking songs, you got to be more aware and make the bass line more obvious.
Okay.
Okay, that it has to come out really strong. If you're playing something like what was when I played at the beginning? Now, that was really vague and random what I just played right there. Now, some of it was because the melody was vague, but also the bass notes you didn't hear. They were a mystery. You need to hear this.
So here really does hear the bass, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Keep my thumbnail in good shape for that.
Yeah, and see, and right there, I was purposely hitting everything with my nail. Now, a lot of times I'll use the side of my thumb if I want something softer, like on the horizon. I might not use my nail.
The flesh of your thumb.
Yeah, but so that's why you always want your nail kind of like right in between there, to where you can use it or cannot use it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But with all those finger picking songs you're playing, and then we talked a little bit about the Fisherman too. But the bass notes have to be more pronounced, and they got to jump out at you.
Chord
They can't
progression,
be.
bass notes, take your time.
Yeah, and so slow everything down. You know, play everything with the metronome and make sure you've got every note exactly right, and then really work on against in that like when you're playing The Godfather, 10% of the time you were in perfect hand position, but when you didn't think you needed it or something, you were in like again, so there's just too much different, too much action here.
That holding a golf ball.
Yeah, and like that little run just keeping your fingers close to the frets, like we talked about in Windy and Warm. So as you're doing this finger, notice it never went anywhere. It was like right here.
It's right there where it needs to be.
It wasn't this. It's like your whole hand. The fingers have to work independently and not affect each other with whatever else is going on. In spite of the fact that when you see Van Halen go, it's all for show and it's not very efficient. But it's his show. So but you watch good finger picking guitar players. You watch John Renbourn or people like that, and they can be doing these incredibly difficult things, and it looks like they're barely doing anything.
watching Muriel Anderson and you guys play. I'm like, how do you guys do that?
Yeah, and she is really efficient because of the tiny. She was here a while ago. And we shot a little thing, and at one point we started talking about hand things. We actually had a couple cameras going on. Nobody will see it. People will see this in a month or two. But at one point we started talking about that, and she said, "So let's just compare hands." And so she holds her hand up. She's sitting right there.
Yeah.
She holds her hand up to mine, and her fingertips barely reach my second knuckle.
Oh God!
It's that, and we were lined up like down
She gets
here.
some crazy stretches going on.
She does, and that was. I mean, that's it. That's how long her index finger was. That much shorter than
You
mine.
can tell her hands like almost on top of the fretboard sometimes just to reach the notes. The way she gets it away.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. And you can see, like in that last piece I was playing, that whole time it was like this.
Yep.
Every finger was like like in prime position for reaching wherever it needed to, instead of something like this.
I always thought it was just the thumb, but I realized it's more my wrist's got to stay down.
Thumb and wrist and everything like that too. So. So rather than anything really specific, I was like, now work on these 4 measures or something. I think what all those different things we just talked about are the things you really got to incorporate into everything you're playing. So play it slower, better hand position, more bass notes, and know the chord progression.
I'll post Penny Lane strumming and fingerstyle. How's that?
And again, that'd be great because the strumming version means you know the chord progression and you know like when you're supposed to be on B flat and when you're supposed to be on A or something like that. And when you're picking out the melody, sometimes those kind of things get blurred really easily.
Well, you taught us that a long time ago. I wish you were here, where you played an instrumental when really it's kind of a picking song. You turned it into an instrumental and strumming song by Invisible Pick, and that's where I started to think about that. So
Yeah.
that was cool. So
Yeah. So
thank you again, Neil.
you're welcome. Thanks. I'm really glad you could make it, and we'll share
great
this
lesson.
with many of the Totally Guitars folks somewhere down the line.
Okay.
I'll send it to you first.
Can I
You
get
can
do a
yeah.
preview?
Yeah. I'll send you a DVD of it.
That was a great lesson. Thank you.
Well, thanks. I really appreciate your time and
You kidding
making
me?
the trip.
I was psyched when I saw that you lived in Los Gatos.